another topic to kind of talk about is challenges of networking. Like we have our AK community, streamers supporting streamers, but of course you do want to look outside that circle too. Yep, Threads is good for that. You do want to go outside of the AK community and check out other streamers, especially down in your niche. Like it's great to get support from other streamers. Um, you know, got some Fortnite streamers, rated by a Fortnite streamer, Call of Duty streamers, other variety streamers of different flavors. But at a certain point, you do want to also be networking specifically within your niche. So in my case, VTubers, right? Specifically, kind of chaotic, semi-chaotic VTubers. So that is something I do look at. I especially looking outside the community in that specific niche, and this kind of goes on the subject of generally that's specific to me, but also in general when it comes to rating out. Some of the challenges of network is I find that there's a lot of streamers that aren't genuine. That they'll talk about, oh yeah, I love raids, I love everybody, yada yada yada. I'm a really friendly person, but I'll go visit streamers and I'll say hi, and get no response. And then the regulars are posting, the regulars are getting responses. I see that posts after mine are getting responses, but I felt ignored. I was ignored, and try a few more times here and there. Of the try again later, try again the next day, and it's like no response. It's like, okay, so that's how it is. And I've encountered this with raids. So there was one when I first started. I'm not going to say who it was. When I first started networking on Threads before I got involved in the AK community, there was somebody who was talking about how, oh yeah, always raid out, even if it's just raiding with one. I welcome raids of all size, and even if you're not affiliate. In fact, there was somebody that I raided who wasn't affiliate. I rated them, and next day they were affiliate. I love to help other streamers, and so I connect with him on there. And go, oh, so you would accept a raid from a non-affiliate? And he's like, oh yeah, go ahead. And so next opportunity I had when I was raiding out and he was streaming, I raided him, and he gave me the shout out and he followed me and everything was great. Next day, he unfollowed me. Yeah. Now I'm not petty. I did not unfollow him. I just haven't visited him again. But there are people who will like that, where they'll say one thing, but then their actions don't reflect their actual words. And kind of on that note, also, when I go to raid out and had the same, yeah, feel it. When I go to raid out, and this has happened most recently. It was actually a VTuber. I raided out, and thanked me for the raid and all that. And this is somebody who we were already following each other on Twitter and Threads. I was following her on Twitter already, and she eventually followed me. And then I saw through the Threads algorithm that she was also there, so I hit the follow. She followed back, and I engage with her posts. I still will like her posts, and I will still engage. She never engages with mine ever, and but whatever. But I raided, and she thanked me for the raid, and then later the next day I see that she had posted about, it's like, oh yeah, it was a great stream and I got raided. Thank you to so and so and so and so for the raids. It was great. I wasn't listed. So here's the thing. I don't expect somebody to make a social media post being like, oh yeah, Vallen, thank you for the raid. I don't expect that. However, if you are going to make a post thanking people who rated you, if I'm one of those who rated you, I better be on the list. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, I have no expectations. It's just, why am I being excluded, So, anyway, it comes down to trying to identify early whether somebody is genuine, right? If you go and visit them, you go say hi, and they actually engage with you is like, hey, welcome in. Definitely stick with them. I've started doing that with a few that I will regularly visit, even though they haven't followed me back. I don't necessarily have an expectation of that. It can happen eventually. Because there's one who, it's kind of actually more kind of funny than anything. One I've actually been following and visiting for a while. I was already streaming, but I was a baby streamer at the time. Not affiliate, but I was visiting. And it was, and for a while after that, I still had no visitors. And then I, go through a bit of a growth spurt. I'm not going to say popped off. I definitely didn't pop off, but a little bit of a growth spurt. And then I get a follow back and a visit from this individual months later. So it can be kind of a slow burn sometimes for a variety of reasons. But it is something that, somebody who's actually engaging with you, it's somebody to stick around with. So I've been starting to look at trying to reach out. So it's great to support small streamers, tiny streamers. I mentioned before that I will visit people with empty chat boxes, and I will fill up empty chat boxes. But something I did realize fairly early is that's not how you grow. Like, actual growth comes from intertwining yourself with established communities. So I still visit small streamers, tiny streamers, and I will put words in empty chat boxes, but I've also been devoting time and energy to visiting people who have an audience to add some visibility to myself, because that's how you actually grow. It's not just being nice to people who are talking to a brick wall. It's got to actually talk to people who get the attention of people who have an audience. So it's something I've been doing, visiting people who, not necessarily like partner level, but we're talking 30 to 40 viewers where, you could still actually be seen. We're also trying to support each other and show the love. Some people are really fake, though. Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm experiencing is, specifically a couple of YouTubers. I'm not going to say who. Even the one that I've gotten positive vibes from, because it's not really led to anything yet. But people with 30 to 40 viewers and funny enough, I only know these people exist because of Instagram. Yes. So this kind of goes back to kind of a little side topic. I didn't even plan to talk about this. So, I was in talking with somebody in our community in their stream, and they made a comment that they don't bother with clipping because they did the math and said, oh, well, for, every 10,000 views, you might get, one view on Twitch. And so I've done the math, and it's just not worth my time. But here's the thing, though. It's a long-term breeding familiarity type of thing. Like, I've yet to get anything from posting clips on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. But it's still super early also. And the more exposure you get, the more likely you'll have somebody come and visit. There are streamers I only know exist because of the Instagram algorithm. I post, Instagram understands more or less who I am. I'm starting to learn who I am a little bit through, also the stuff I like. It starts to kind of understand who you are based on what you like. And there are some streamers that have bubbled up. And we're not talking like huge streamers. We're talking about people who will have like 20, 30, 40 average viewers, not even partner level. But their stuff bubbled up because Instagram started to be like, hey, I think you'll like this. And so there's a couple that I visited. One I didn't feel as good about, but I was like, well, I'll go visit them. And indeed, they just straight up ignored me. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to bother with them. But another one, I'm like, oh, yes, this is very much gremlin level. And it's very much gremlin level. I go visit her, and she greets me with a warm welcome. And the next time I go to visit her, she, everybody when they see me in chat, they're like, "What is your Vallen Valingo? Is that Spanish?" I go, "No, it's Vallen with the go because Vallen was already taken." So Yeah, Vallen was taken, and Switch is like, well, we could put something else on there. Which of these you want? And I'm like, yeah, Vallen, go. Okay, that has a nice ring to it. And now people are like, Vayengo? I was like, no. Um, but the next time I go visit her, she's like, oh, hi, Vallen. So not only do I get a warm welcome, but she remembers how to refer to me. And that goes a long way, right? Like, I may not see her in my chat for a while, but this is somebody who's at least genuine, right? And so, yeah, that's the thing is you try to evaluate early. And so what I've started doing is just I'll say hello in my standard um, uh, asocial way where I'll spam I'll throw some emotes. I'll be silly with the emotes and see what happens. And because that's how I say hello. That's my love language. That and obnoxious sound alerts. That's my love language. So people who are amenable to that, those are the people that I say, oh yeah, this is somebody I can make a connection with. And so yeah, so that's what I'll generally do is I'll just drop the silly emote, say hello, and see what happens, and just go from there. And I'm quick to say, and I've gotten to be quick to say, yeah, this isn't gonna work. This is not a network opportunity. Move on.